I'm not happy. Huh? Today was supposed to be day off. Huh? I'm in bubble bath, relaxing. I got a glass of wine. I'm doing good. And the phone ring. And they say, oh no, Bubba, you got to play. I said, why? Why I got to play? He said, well, apparently Spencer cut himself shaving for the first time. He's learning. What do you want, huh? He can't grow a beard, so he got to shave. So now I got to play. I'm pissed.
The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
All right, Panther fans, here we go. We got the Flyers tonight, and hopefully, number one, we won't blow a 3-goal lead. Number two, both times that we have played the Flyers this year, if memory serves me correctly, both times, Mackie Samoskevich has been out of the lineup. I think one of the times was just a dumbass coach's decision, and then I think the other time was when he was in the AHL because of our cap situation for that minute where we had to have Drieger up as the backup. So, yeah, when Bob's wife had the baby. So, what that has robbed us of is Tippett versus Samoskevich, the ex-first-round pick who we disposed of versus the new first-round pick who we better not dispose of. Let's put it that way. So, hopefully we get to see that tonight. I haven't looked, but I'm going to assume that we're going to see Spencer Knight and net tonight. That would make sense with us playing New Jersey tomorrow. But you never know. Like I said with Maurice, for all we know, Maurice has got Stanley Panther in at goal tonight. You never know what you're going to see. What we do need to see is just a continuation of how well we played in the last 2 seconds of regulation against Boston. I think we can just take those 2 seconds, maybe 3. 2 might be pushing it. Take the last 3 seconds. You know what? I'll give them the last 5 seconds of regulation. Just take those 5 seconds and just keep doing it over and over and over again. Because fan base, even though we've gotten spoiled really quick around here, I think we'd like to see just a little hint, just a little glimmer, right? Just a little bit of blush, a little bit of, just a little bit of evidence that our confidence in the fact that this team is just going to turn it on come playoff time is well placed, right? I've been asking for 5 games we look like ourselves. I've been asking for 3 games. Could we have 2 straight periods? Could we have 2 straight periods where we look like the Panthers? Now, I know we kind of dominated against Boston the other night, or other afternoon, but you still got to put the puck in the back of net a little bit more, and we need to have a complete game. Can we have one game where the offense, defense, and goaltending are all exceptional to remind us of Game 7 last year? Let's do this, Panthers. All right, so 2-0 Panthers after 1. Don't get excited. We know what happened last time we played this team. Play a full. What did I ask for? I asked for 2 periods, right? That was definitely one period where the offense, defense, and the other part of the game that I'm not allowed to praise during the middle of the game did well. So there's that. Philadelphia's not good. They're not good. Their goaltending is not great. But somehow, when you look at the standings, I mean, do you remember, Panther fans? Do you remember? It wasn't that long ago either, by the way. It was during the first 3-4 years of this channel, kind of basically. Do you remember being this time of the season? We're only 4 points out. We're only 5 points out, but we do have a couple games in hand. And do you remember that? It sucked, didn't it? It really sucked, right? I mean, we tried to pretend like if we could just maybe make something happen, we maybe might be good, but in reality, we sucked. That's the Flyers right now. Now, of course, as soon as I say that, we'll end up blowing the lead in the second period. So I'll shut up now. So it's 2-1. Panthers after 2. So first period, Reinhardt with another shorty, and then Balinskis gets a goal that really, really shouldn't have been a goal. Good shot, but just a terrible goal. And then we come out for the second period, and just we're not capable. Like, I would wonder if you went back to every recap I've done this year, and I should put together a montage of just bitching and complaining after the second period about how we can't play a good second period. It is. Now, we haven't blown the lead yet, but boy, there's only one reason we haven't blown the lead. And I can't praise the goaltender in the middle of the game, but there's only one reason it ain't about 4-2 right now, Philadelphia. Just lackadaisical lack of everything all over the ice. Barkov and Reinhardt are turnover machines tonight in the sense of they keep trying to pass the puck in the offensive zone, in the defensive zone, cross ice. There's nobody open. Mentally, they're just not checked in at all. We played a good part of the first period. We got our 2 goals, and then we checked out again. I don't want to say I have no faith that we're going to win the game, because I do think we will win the game. But I have no faith that we won't have to win this game after giving up the lead. All right. Let's go. So, we just allowed 3 goals in the third period to the Flyers, and we'll lose 4-3. For those of you who have been with this channel since the early days, I guess you know what's coming. If you're relatively new here, if you've only been here since the team got good, hide the children, hide the kids. I'm not kidding. Hide the kids. So now I'm gonna take. We won the cup. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take all of the. We're the champs. We won the cup. Cup hangover. We're not playing right into the playoffs. I'm going to take all of that and I'm going to put it over here on the table. Because I've been saying that all year long. And now when the same thing consistently happens, I don't care who, what team, what sport, if the same thing consistently is happening, that's coaching. Now I can sit here and I can say, well, we miss Ekblad. We need a second pairing for Mikkola. Bennett's playing like ass. Kachuk is only involved half the time. Erod is not producing the way we need him to if he's going to be on the top line. Luosterainen's getting opportunities with Bennett, Kachuk not burying the puck. Sam Miskevich is absolutely being wasted on the 4th line when we've got a perfectly good opportunity for him next to Bennett, next to Barkov and Reinhardt. It would work. I guarantee that it would work. The third line, Jesper Boquist is he's a nice little story. Okay? But we didn't find the next Carter Verhaeghe. I don't think so. And speaking of Carter Verhaeghe, what happened to this dude? Now, that's a lot of players. Did you hear that list? That's a lot of players. Rodriguez, Luosterainen, Bennett, Kachuk, Verhaeghe. Not producing at all at the level we need them to produce. Now, I know Ekblad's been out, but even before that, Maurice can't quite nail down what the situation is with the defense. And in terms of the forwards, it's a constant rotation of guys trying to find some kind of a spark, except for there's certain combinations he absolutely refuses to try. And then there's the second period. And now we've joked about it. The first 10 games, it was kind of funny. You get to 20 games like, hey, this is a thing. You get to 30 games, and it's a problem. And now at 40, whatever games, it's an expectation of us absolutely playing like dog shit during the second period. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. It doesn't matter if we got a 2-goal lead, a 3-goal lead. It don't matter. We're going to blow it and play like shit in the second period. And if we don't completely blow it in the second period, we're going to allow the other team to tie the game early on in the third period. And the same shit keeps happening. That's coaching. That's Maurice. Now, we've seen him, I don't know, whatever it was, a couple weeks ago when we played Pittsburgh, I believe that was that game, where he laid into the guys on the bench and he did the whole red face routine and the cursing and all of that. And those guys said, that's nice, Paul. Now we have the cup. We are the cup champs. And I know nobody has said it more than me that going to 3 cups in a row is difficult. Nobody has said more to me that we're going to put in the minimum amount of effort possible to make the playoffs and not overexert ourselves during the regular season. And that is really the only reason why this recap is not going to be an hour long full of F-bombs. That said, there's a couple things starting to creep up that I don't like. And the reason why I'm choosing these things, Maurice's stubbornness and Kachuk's laziness, is because they are both things that I was told from fans from whence they came about what would happen with Maurice, especially revolving around young players or his style being overly difficult for guys to continue to play and kind of losing the room, and Kachuk just sort of being a guy who likes to start a bunch of gripe but kind of gets lazy and will stand around and not do a whole lot. I'm seeing both of those things begin to play out. I don't like it. Then, on top of that, your best players in Reinhardt and Barkov. Now, Reinhardt, I can't really complain about all that much, but he is making some mental mistakes. And so is Barkov. The 4th goal. How many times have we seen Barkov be the forward that's back in case shit goes bad? And I've never seen him do what he did tonight, which is be aggressive to try to get to the puck first and then lose it. And now you've got 2 guys going back the other way. Rodriguez, no way he's going to get back on time. And the puck's in the back of the net. I've never seen Barkov play it that way before. He always plays it safe, acts exactly like a defenseman would, backs up, and eliminates the play. He didn't do that tonight. And that's something I've been talking about, is these guys are not mentally engaged. Now, I understand we're the champs, and I understand that we may have games where we're not giving full effort, not giving full physicality. Now, I can understand Bennett, Kachuk, those guys not out there wanting to beat the crap out of their bodies by banging on the board. I can understand that. But Maurice has failed to find the right button where there's a happy medium, where that they can play a game where they are mentally and emotionally engaged without having to beat their bodies to a pulp. There's got to be a happy medium somewhere. Because this dog shit that we've put on the ice in different ways and shapes and forms in the last 2 games is not acceptable, especially when you got a lot of this. I know tonight was on the road. The Boston game was at home. We're laying eggs at home because these guys are checked out mentally. because they're not just saying, well, we don't want to be overly physical to the playoffs. They're just not in the game at all mentally. And then you got poor guys out there like Nate Schmidt, who is mentally engaged in the game, who's just like sucking air because he's Nate Schmidt. And he's not a young guy. And we're asking way too much of Nate Schmidt and Dmitry Kulikov. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Schmidt got beat. Schmidt got beat for, was it the second goal or the third goal? And he looked like Jakob Kindle. He looked like Jakob Kindle. He got beat to the short side of the net by his man when it was obvious that's where the puck was going, and the puck was in the back of the net. And you just can't have that. And so forget the part about they're tired or they're coasting or they're not going to beat themselves up. Forget about that part. They're not mentally engaged in the game. And that is on Paul Maurice. Because it's Maurice's job to find a happy medium between busting our ass Game 7 against Edmonton and dog shit like we saw tonight in the second and third period of this game. And if it wasn't for Sam Reinhart and Bobrovsky, that's 8-1. And in fact, if it wasn't for Sam Reinhart with Shorty and the power play goal, and then Balinskis with just a lucky bad goal that Urson let in, it's bad. It's bad. Bad. And here's the thing about it. This is what makes it difficult. We talk all the time about, well, we need a defenseman, or are we going to put a new top forward in the top six and all of that. But you know what? It don't freaking matter if these guys don't put their heads out of their ass and into the game. Most of the mistakes that are being made on the ice are mental mistakes by players that should know better. The number of cross-ice passes that we are attempting as passes to try to get a goal or passes to try to clear the puck. We are just not playing anything remotely close to the style of hockey that we should play, and it's half-ass all over the place. We have the forwards to play run and gun, but we do not have the defense. There's no Montour, there's no OEL, there's no Gudas back there. Balinskis and Bornfoot have potential, especially Bornfoot, but we can't play Franken-ass hockey. And if we're not going to play Maurice's style the way it needs to be played, then just go out there and play run and gun and lose or win every game 7-5, and then try to lock it down in the playoffs. But this is difficult to watch. It's difficult to watch. And the point is that there's no pinpointing what spot we really... There's no pinpointing what position we could trade for that's really going to make a difference. This game doesn't turn out any different tonight if we got Cale Makar with Nico Mikkola. It's the same result. It's the exact same result. Because most of the problem is the forwards have their heads so far shoved up their ass they can't hear what Maurice is saying on the bench anyway. That's really a majority of the problem. The defense is giving effort. At the very least, they're giving effort. But the forwards, just like we saw at the beginning of Maurice's tenure, when the forwards had not figured out how hard they had to work, and we were like, I don't know if we can even make the playoffs. Remember, we were like 10, 12 points out. Well, this is why. Getting up, we could literally put Cale Makar on this defense. The results are going to be the same because it's not the actual defenseman. Now, Nate Schmidt's not perfect. Kulikov is not perfect, but they are not the problem. They're just not the problem. Could we use an upgrade there? Sure, of course, but they're not the problem. The problem is mental mistakes from Barkov, Reinhart, Bennett, Kachuk, Verhaeghe. Lack of production from some of those guys plus Reinhardt, Luosterainen, and Lundell's kind of quieted off as well. We got a fourth line that, I mean, if Samoskevich had real line mates, the kid would have 15 assists by now. The number of times he sets those guys up and they can't score because they're fourth line guys. He doesn't belong down there. He doesn't belong. Put Erod on the fourth line, put Samoskevich on the top line, and watch Samoskevich get Barkov and Reinhardt just play after play after play. But Maurice isn't going to do it because he's a stubborn old schmuck. With a cup. But still a stubborn old schmuck. So, this team is not a player away. And what I mean by that is that it don't matter who you put. You could put Makar next to Mikkola. You could go get frickin' Marchessault or somebody else and put them up there in the top six. But if Barkov, Reinhardt, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Tkachuk are going to not be mentally engaged in the game the way we need them to be, it won't matter. It don't matter. It really doesn't. All right. So now we get the Devils tomorrow night. We're probably going to blow the gates off of us. And hey, look, maybe this is just all they had left, right? Maybe 2 runs to the cup, used up all the gas, and maybe it is just mentally done, or at least done for this year. I don't want to give up on this year, but the problem is not physical ability. The problem is mental. And, you know, it's up to Maurice to find a middle ground. And right now he's failing at that miserably. He's not putting the right line combinations together. Now, the Luosterainen thing was nice for 2 minutes with Bennett and Tkachuk. It ain't working. He doesn't have the offensive ability. Honestly. Barkov, Reinhardt, Samoskevich, Bennett, Tkachuk, Boqvist, Lundell, Luosterainen, Verhaeghe. Yeah. Or maybe put Verhaeghe back with Bennett and Tkachuk. But there's so many other considerations, right? I mean, you take a snapshot of this team right now, and there's so many other considerations in terms of what assets could we get for Sam Bennett, right? I mean, we know what we need from Sam Bennett in the playoffs. And the question is that guy still there? Because he ain't there now, right? He's certainly not there now. And, you know, he's going to need a contract, and somebody's going to pay him. And we already won the cup, so, you know, Zito's going to look at things a little bit differently now. You know, we're still in win a cup now mode, and I'm not saying I would want to get rid of Sam Bennett, but we need Sam Bennett. The dude on the ice right now is not Sam Bennett. It's not. So only the coaches are going to know, only the people around the team are going to know if he's just worn the hell out and can't put it together for the playoffs, or if they're all just both physically and mentally coasting. And I think we'll see the answers to those questions in whatever Zito does. But we could sit here and say we need a defenseman all we want. Getting a top 4 defenseman and adding them to this team doesn't change anything. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but it's not the problem. It's not the problem. So we'll find out tomorrow. I assume Ekblad's not going to play. I think they already said that. So we'll see if the Balinskis-Bornfoot pairing, in terms of speed, gives us a boost there against the Devils. completely wasted performance by Bobrovsky tonight. So now we got Spencer tomorrow night. I was a little surprised. I thought Spencer would have had the game tonight, but that ain't the way it worked out. It didn't work out at all. So that's it. That's it. I was going to go on an old school F-bomb rant, but you know what? We got the cup, and I don't like watching this any more than you do. I don't. But when you look at it, this is the last thing. It's a lot of names, right? It's a lot of names not producing. It's a lot of names not mentally engaged. And unfortunately, the most logical explanation for all of those guys just being checked out mentally is just absolute mental fatigue from the 2 runs to the cup. I don't like that anymore. I would rather it be that they're just coasting because they think they're hot shit, because then that would imply that they could turn it back on come playoff time. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. They seem, as a collective group, because you look at the guys with energy. The only guys with energy for the most part are the guys that weren't here, right? You know, even Forsling, I mean, you can tell they're just exhausted out there on the ice. So, good thing we won last year. Good thing we won last year. You know, we can ask all the other teams about what happens when their team won the cup. And then the next year or two, they kind of had to, you know, regroup and retool and all of that. And we might be seeing that now. Look, making it, what was the stat? No team since the 80s Oilers has made it to 3 Stanley Cup finals in a row with 82-game seasons. Tampa did it, but they had the 2 shortened seasons. I don't like to take away from them, but the bottom line is nobody since, you know, the Gretzky and Messier Oilers have gotten to 3 straight cups with 82-game season. So there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, and I think we're starting to see it out there on the ice. So if that's the case, that is why I'm not going to go. That's why I'm not going to go all 2017 on these guys. You know what I mean? They could just be mentally cooked. They really could be. You know, we're going to see them play well in spurts and in spots, right? But when was the last time we had a real game of just cycling the puck? I mean, I know we look good against Boston at times, but we still, you know, lost the game. Had to tie it with 2 seconds left. And Boston ain't exactly Edmonton right now, you know, last year's Edmonton. So I don't like it any more than you do, but it might be what it is. You know what I mean? So we'll just enjoy the season for the rest of the way. We're going to make the playoffs, and then we'll know early on. Look, I mean, like a 90% chance is going to be Florida versus Tampa, and if we put the effort on the ice against the Lightning, anything like we put against Boston or against Philadelphia tonight is going to be over quick. Like, they'll have to have the mercy rule after the 3rd game and be like to the Panthers, do we even need to play that 4th game? I think we get the point. It'll be bad. Because Tampa's not playing around because they've had rest and time off, and they've got guys that know how to win. And I'm sure Tampa's looking around the Eastern Conference right now going, shit, why can't we win? You know? So we're going to know real early on in the playoffs. If they play this way, mentally checked out like that, it's going to be, we'll be swept. We won't win the playoff game. Not like this. Not with the second period problem. Maurice has got to find some kind of solution to what's going on, especially in these second periods. It's just awful. It's awful. All right. I'll be live tomorrow at noon for your therapy session, and then we will be right back at it again against the Devils tomorrow night. Watch us win 5-0 too, right? Watch us just blow the Devils right out of the water. All right. No points.